There's a specific kind of tired that has nothing to do with how much sleep you got. It's the tired that shows up after a long conversation with someone you love. After a meeting where you were the one holding everyone together. After a call with a family member who needed you. Again. You hang up. You close the laptop. And there's this small internal collapse, like something got taken from you that you didn't quite consent to give. Most of us have been calling that generosity. We've been treating it as the price of being a good person. But what if that drain isn't the cost of caring? What if it's the cost of caring while believing you're running out? Here's what we're actually going to look at together today. And it's simpler than it sounds. There's a quality of presence, call it a stillness underneath the noise, that isn't something we have to build or earn. It's already here, available in the middle of a Tuesday, in the middle of a hard conversation, in the middle of exhaustion. And when we're actually in touch with it, something strange happens. Giving stops depleting us. Because what we're giving turns out to be the same thing we're receiving. Later, we'll walk into that experience directly in a short meditation. But first, let's talk about why this feels so counterintuitive, and why almost everyone gets the equation wrong. Here's the belief running underneath the tiredness, and most of us have never said it out loud. I have a limited amount of me, a limited amount of attention, patience, warmth, energy, and every time someone needs some, my supply goes down, so we ration. Quietly, constantly. You see it in the small calculations. Do I have the bandwidth for this call right now? Can I afford to really listen? Or do I need to keep something back for later? It's not selfish, it's survival math. If you believe your inner resources are finite, of course you protect them. But notice what this belief requires. It requires that in order to be present with someone else, you have to leave yourself. You have to step out of your own center and go over to them. And then, when the interaction is done, you have to come back, and you come back with less than you left with. That's the model. That's the equation almost all of us are running. It's exhausting because it's supposed to be. Any system where connection means self-departure is going to feel like sacrifice, no matter how much you love the person on the other end. Here's a picture that might help. Imagine a phone that's plugged into the wall, permanently, invisibly, always. It never runs out of charge because it's not running on stored power. It's connected to the source. Now imagine that phone forgot it was plugged in. Imagine it started acting like a phone on battery, checking its percentage, dimming its screen, panicking a little every time someone asked to borrow it. It would guard itself. It would ration. It would treat every request as a threat to its remaining charge. That's us. That's the equation we've been running. We're convinced we're on limited battery. We're rationing attention like it's a resource that depletes. And the whole time, the cord is still in the wall. We just forgot. What this lesson quietly proposes, and it takes some time to actually feel this, not just hear it, is that the stillness underneath us, the quality of presence we keep trying to schedule or earn, was never something we had to generate. It's not a battery we charge on the weekend. It's a current we're already connected to. We just have to remember we didn't unplug. Let me ground this in something ordinary. It's Tuesday evening, your sister calls. You already know what this call is. It's the same situation she's been venting about for 2 years, and you feel that familiar tightening in your chest before you even answer. You pick up. You say the right things. You make the sympathetic sounds. But there's a part of you doing math in the background. How long can I stay on this call? How much do I have left for tonight? What am I going to have to give up? The walk? The quiet hour? The book, to afford this conversation? And you're not being a bad sister, you're being a phone on 34% battery trying to make it through the day. But then, and this is the part worth paying attention to, something shifts mid-conversation. You don't do it on purpose. Maybe she says something softer than usual. Maybe you exhale a little deeper than you meant to. And for a moment, the calculating stops. The mental clock stops running. You're just there. Listening. Not from your reserve. From somewhere else. It's like stepping into a cool room after being outside all day. Nothing dramatic. Just quiet. Present. Actually with her. And when the call ends, here's the strange part, you don't feel emptied. You feel like something restored in you. Like the conversation gave you something too. That moment, that small mid-Tuesday moment, is what this whole lesson is pointing at. Here's what actually happened on that call. You didn't manufacture stillness, you returned to it. It was already there. Underneath the calculating. The moment you stopped rationing, you noticed the cord was in the wall. And from that place, the plugged-in place, giving and receiving stopped being opposites. They stopped being two different transactions. It was one current, moving through you. And it didn't matter which direction you called it. Attention going out was the same substance as warmth coming back in. This is the reframe. This is the whole thing, when we're actually present, not performing presence, not scheduling presence, just resting in what's already here, the exhausting equation dissolves. Because the equation was based on a false premise. The premise that presence is scarce, that connection costs us, that we have to leave ourselves to reach anyone else. None of that was true. It just felt true because we forgot we were plugged in. So what changes on a practical level? Not much and everything. You still pick up the call. You still sit through the hard conversation. You still show up for the people who need you. The outer form of your life looks the same. But underneath, something has stopped clenching. The rationing has quieted. The internal math is no longer running in the background eating up your bandwidth. And what you'll start to notice, not all at once, but in small moments, is that certain conversations don't drain you the way they used to. Certain people don't take from you the way you expected, not because they've changed, because you stopped operating from a belief that they were subtracting from you. The cord was always in the wall. The current was always available. Every time you catch yourself doing the mental math of how much you have left to give, you can pause for half a second and just notice, oh, I forgot again. I forgot I was plugged in. And then, gently, without effort, you can step back into what's already here. Not as a discipline, as a homecoming. Let's take a few minutes now and actually feel this. Not just think about it. If you'd like more teachings and guided practices like this, you can like the video and subscribe. And now, we'll move into a short guided meditation. Let's take a few minutes to let this settle somewhere deeper than thinking. Find a way to sit that feels supported. Not rigid, just held. Let your eyes close if that feels natural. If not, let your gaze soften toward the floor. Notice that you're already breathing. You didn't have to start. It's been happening this whole time. Underneath everything you were doing today. Let the breath be exactly as it is. Slow, quick, shallow, deep, none of it needs adjusting. Now bring gentle attention to the places in your body that have been working. The shoulders, the jaw, the space between your eyebrows, the hands, just notice them. No fixing. No unclenching on command. Just noticing, and as you notice, see if anything wants to soften on its own. Not because you told it to. Because it was waiting to be seen. Let the shoulders drop a 1/4 inch. Let the jaw unhook slightly. Let the hands rest. And now, underneath all of that noticing, see if you can feel something quieter. Something that isn't doing anything. Something that was here before you sat down, and will be here after you stand up. A kind of stillness. Underneath the noise. Not something you're creating, something you're returning to. Rest there for a moment. Not performing rest, just resting. And if the mind wants to remind you of the list, the message, the person you owe a reply to, let it. Let those thoughts pass through. You don't have to send them away. You just don't have to follow them. Stay with what's underneath the thoughts, the current that's always running. The quiet chord in the wall. Notice, you didn't have to plug in. You already were, and notice, nothing about this stillness is running out. It doesn't have a percentage. It doesn't deplete when you spend it. From here, imagine someone you'll speak to tomorrow, someone who tends to take a lot. See their face gently, and feel, just for a second, what it might be like to meet them from here instead of from the rationing place. No strain. No leaving yourself to reach them. Just this quiet, already here presence. Extending outward the same way the breath extends outward. Stay with that a moment longer, and when you're ready, no rush, let your attention drift back into the room. The sounds around you. The weight of your body. The light behind your eyes. Bring the quiet with you. It was always yours. Thank you for practicing with us today. If you'd like, there's a link to a free digital copy of ACIM in the description. And if this video resonated with you, please comment. I am grateful. Thank you for spending this time here. If today gave you even a small moment of remembering that you weren't as depleted as you thought, let that be enough. You don't have to hold on to it perfectly. The current keeps running whether you're paying attention or not. Be gentle with yourself this week, especially in the conversations that used to cost you. I'll see you in the next one.